Another frustrating loss last night. Marc Jackson, NBC Sports, Philadelphia Sixers pre- and post-game analyst. Real talk with him right now on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Welcome back, Mark. Another frustrating loss to the Celtics, man. They can't get past the Celtics.
A Kyrie-less Celtics, to say the worst. Like, it was disappointing. I was real gung-ho, had my popcorn, but, I thought Celtics come out with a win.
Let me ask you, a Kyrie-less Celtics. I actually think that Celtics team without Kyrie, he might be the best player, but for some reason they play better and give the Sixers more problems because I think it allows Tatum to be a better player.
You might have a point. I know it's a lot of chatter going on about is the team better than him, better without him and stuff like that. It's really interesting because they're going to have, the 76ers have made some big moves that's going to help the basketball club in the long run. I think the Celtics has even a bigger challenge to see what they're going to do with this superstar player at the end of the season.
Mark, last night you watched that game. What is your assertion as to why the Celtics were better last night? A lot of people going all over. Embiid didn't play well. Celtics shot really well. Brad Stevens got the better of Brett Brown, and the list goes on and on. What's at the top of the list for you?
Top of the list for me was first half. I really believe that there was a lot of sticky fingers going on, which means there was a lot of passes, extra passes that were not made. And that was the first thing I noticed. I've seen a lot of hero ball out there in that first half, and it really threw the team off on both ends of the floor. On the other end, I think Boston shot the ball well in the second half. I thought the Sixers got crucial stops. But then as the game kept going, the Celtics found a way to hit open shots. And I think, another third thing, I really believe that the Celtics used the pick and roll well to create shots for open guys.
Mark, it just seems like the Celtics are making the Sixers work time and a half when Philadelphia is on D. And it's not just with the skip pass. It seems like this is a designed attack that we can date back into the postseason last year where the Celtics could get a three, they could get a foul, they could get a bucket and one. Whatever it is they're doing, they just seem like they make the Sixers work extra hard on defense. Do you see that as well?
I believe so. I believe that this team is so, they're similar to the Golden State Warriors. They have no weaknesses. And I keep saying a big thing for this team, this Celtics team, compared to the Sixers, is that they have an ability to guard. They have one player that can guard Joel and Ben Simmons, and that's Al Horford. I mean, he's just a problem. I mean, I said it last year during the playoffs, and I'll say it again. They have the one guy on the team that can guard two of now the 76ers' five superstars for one person, and that's Al Horford. He's just an incredible defender.
It's amazing that Al Horford is going to undo this team once again if, in fact, it's a 4-5 matchup in the postseason. Mark, when you look at the remaining 20-plus games that this team has, especially coming off of that frustrating loss last night, you've got a chance now to take it all out on the lowly Knicks tonight. What do you look at in this final third of the season following the break, specifically for this team to work on to really make them a contender to get out of the East, knowing that they've added Tobias Harris and still trying to make it work with Jimmy Butler?
I think it's communication. And I know that could be an easy excuse, but I really believe sometimes yesterday when the Boston made the pass, it was a few instances where another Sixer could have rotated. So I think communication is key to this team. Now that they have all these alphas in that locker room, it has to be somebody who can speak up during the course of the game to help in defensive rotation. Offensively, I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to go to the video session today and realize that there was some sticky fingers going on, but they need to make the extra pass. But once they identify that, I think that's a quick fix. On defense, communication with all these new people is important because of the way the pick and roll offense is applied is always going on. So you have to communicate to get that scrambled D going.
Marc Jackson with us here. Sixers lose to the Celtics last night. Brad Stevens versus Brett Brown, where does that fall in? Because, the fans, that's where they're going right today. That Stevens got the better again, consistently not making these adjustments. It looks a lot the same of these games that we saw in the playoffs. Where does that kind of factor in for you, Mark?
The Brad Stevens, Brett Brown conversation, I don't even get involved in that because I think that can go, either way because the way the tide turns on a day. We're Sixers fans. They're going to be mean and we're going to be harsh. But I really believe that, yes, Brad Stevens is a great coach, but Brett Brown is a good coach. And now he has a lot of talent. He has a similar amount of talent that Brad Stevenson had the last 2 years. So now let's wait to the end of this year, and that's evaluate. Because he has plenty of time after All-Star break where we can get a good handle on what kind of coach is he with enormous amounts of talent. So until then, I'm not going to judge Coach Brett Brown because he was playing with a bad deck. Now he has a loaded deck, and can he still pull the aces out?
Yeah, I think that's a fair answer, Mark, and I'll try to come at it in a different way because I agree with you, which is we still need time in order to answer it specifically where it's Brad versus Brett. But can you look at it like when Brad Stevens goes up against Brett Brown, it's not about who's a better coach, but it seems as if Brad Stevens finds a way to highlight with Brett Brown some things that he still needs to work on. Is that fair?
Yes, but I think all coaches do that, respectfully. I think I believe all coaches do that, where coaches try to pick out what they believe is the team's weak spot or habits that the team has, and try to take advantage of it. And the 76ers try to do that to Boston. And that's Boston kept left with the win, so we don't really look at that. We don't really look at that and say, oh, well, maybe they've got the best of them that way because we don't tend to think that way. We just want to go the other way. I think both teams do that.
By the way, 40% on our Twitter poll say Brown was out-coached. 34%, though, Mark, say Embiid played poorly. I didn't like Embiid settling for 8 threes last night. And I'm not one of these guys that says get your butt down in the post and go down there. Right. But last night I thought he just didn't have it from outside, that he was settling for that shot. And a lot of people wonder, is Horford in his head?
Well, you know what? That's a great assessment. And the interesting thing is, that being said, is did he shoot bad threes, though? I don't think he did. I thought they was all in rhythm shots. I do think this, though. Once it stopped going, I think once he missed a couple, then he hit one, then he missed a couple, he'd be like, well, I'm going to get hot. Like, no. Okay, you're going to get hot. But what's the benefit of having Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and all these guys if you are on the three-point line jacking them threes? What's the benefit of that? Mm-hmm. You're in their space now. I really believe that for me, I am that guy that says Joel needs to know when it's time to go where your bread is buttered, and it's in that post. Other than your new teammate, you're the largest guy on that court. So why be on the three-point line trying to outshoot Al Horford? That's hard for me to fathom. And I know at this new age, he shouldn't go on the post. Yes, you should. The last stuff in the post, force a double team, make it easy for your teammate. That's just how I feel.
Do you think, Mark, Ben Simmons will take another three this season, speaking of three-point shots?
Yeah.
Yes, I think he'll take another 3 to 4. The reason why I think that is
3 to 4. I mean, come on, we need more than 3 or 4.
Listen, I'll take 3 or 4 at this point.
You just asked me would he take 1. Now you're complaining about 3 or 4.
Right.
Come on now.
He's greedy, Mark. He's greedy.
I was there the other night when he shot the 3. I was a witness to it. I want more. It looked like it almost went down.
Yeah. He works on it. He does work on that. He's just not comfortable with it. So, will he take some? I think he will. But I think let's talk about why he did it. It was so disrespectful with the way that LeBron was guarding him that he had no choice. LeBron was standing under the rim. I mean, under the rim, guys. I mean, I was like, whoa, talk about disrespectful. You either going to shoot it today or you not going to shoot it. And he darn sure shot it.
Mark, the other thing we asked, okay, so we had Embiid played poorly, Brown out coach. Celtics just a better team. Do you think Boston is just a better team than Philadelphia, even at this stage after all the trades and all the moves?
All right, even with Kyrie in the lineup, I say no. I said they are a more gelled team than the 76ers now. But I think by the end of this year, I think Philadelphia, and I'm not just saying this, guys, and I keep putting out this disclaimer because I don't want people to ever say this. I'm not being a homer. But I'm telling you the facts are the facts. What I see now is Boston Celtics beat them because they caught the 76ers 1 week later after making all these acquisitions.
Yes.
But you give it another month or two, I think the tides will turn.
Marc Jackson, NBC, Philadelphia, Sixers pre and post. They got the Knicks tonight. Now, the Knicks have lost 17 straight.
On purpose.
Probably, yes, on purpose.
Hey, you can't say that.
No, I'm saying – no. You know why, Mark? Because they gave us you-know-what and back for 3 years.
They did.
Saying that the Sixers have poisoned the game and sabotage and all the talking heads they can find from ESPN to Fox Sports and CBS and NBC. And now what? Now because Zion and Durant could go to New York, this is a good thing. My goodness.
Tell them why you're mad.
Hey,
but it's the truth, though. What you're saying is not phantom. It is the truth.
The best bet out there is for Dennis Smith Jr. to win the dunk contest because the Knicks have to win something. They got to let them win something. So bet that odds out there. Mark, Sixers, Knicks, of course, and then a little bit of an all-star break, and then down the stretch they come. Here's a question real quick before we let you run. You got Toronto, Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, and Indiana still hanging around this thing. If you have to match up with one of those teams in the second round, who's the best matchup for Philly?
I really like us playing against Toronto. And the reason why I say that, here's the reason why I say that. I say that because Toronto were playing great last year, right? We can admit that. Even with the roster they had. Now they had one of the best players in the league in Kawhi Leonard. But here's what get me. They were playing so great this year because they changed the way they play. They put Ibaka at the 5, Siakam at the 4, changed the way they play, changed the face of the way they play. You bring in Marc Gasol, which is a premier big man in this league. But now you have to reinvent back to the way you played when you had violent shootings. So now you want to go away from what made you one of the best teams in the league by the way you played defensively and add Marc Gasol. So, yes, Marc Gasol is a good player, but that's a whole different way to change your chemistry from playing Ibaka at the 5, Siakam at the 4, now ingraining Marc Gasol at the 5. I really think it's going to set them back.
All right, Marc Jackson here on the Sports Bash. And I know, Mark, that you think Brooklyn would give Philly problems in the first round.
Yes. I'm afraid of Brooklyn's guards. Well, not no more. But prior to now, I really like I think Brooklyn's guards give 76ers major headaches.
Marc Jackson, everybody, here on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. He appeared like all guests on the Boardwalk on the Hotline. Thanks, pal. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, guys.